It's a wonderful experience to meet all the dignitaries in the education field who are going to carve beautiful future of our country called Bharat. And in your hands is the future of those individuals who will seek guidance, knowledge from you. There are so many avenues in the education which one wishes to go into, from commerce to engineering to this or to that. But I have a little take on this whole scenario, and that is the mind through which you are going to learn, or should I say even impart education. If the structure and the functioning and the management of that mind is not beautiful or optimum, then things will be in jeopardy. We all talk about drinking very safe water. We all talk about having a container, a glass, which is hygienically, sanitized in this, post-COVID era where we are living. But in a way, we are totally missing the one thing, that the mind which is going to contain all the education, is that mind sanitized? Is that mind fairly consolidated, fairly concentrated, without any emotional traumas or without any too much of stress? She loves me, this, it's okay. One thing which is overpowering all of us in this modern era is stress. And I'll establish very soon that why I am bringing this topic to all of you who are so well adjusted and accomplished people in your own life, but still I'm going to lay my whole theme that until your mind is not in correct temperament, attitude and aptitude, and that is being stress-free, it will be very, very difficult for the students to absorb their knowledge which they'll gain and contain it. In our ancient scriptures, we talk about Dhi, Dhriti and Smriti. Dhi is your intellect. So how is your intellect, which wants to be educated, which wants to learn and know and seek and later on earn their livelihood with that? So how is the intellect status? Then it would be the dhriti. Dhriti is how much you can hold that education or the knowledge in your head, or you are just going to lose it. And then comes the smriti, meaning your memory. That whatever you have learned and you have contained, but if at the right time you can't bring out that information out of your intellect, then your all knowledge is gone, is waste. So remembering everything correctly and gaining knowledge correctly and using it at the right time is a very, very important thing. So Dhi, Dhruti and Smriti. So how can a young student's Dhi, intellect, be improved if it is full of stress? How will this child or a young or the teenager who is coming to you for education can't contain all the information which is being given? And then how will this person perform in their exams? Because if they are just going to learn and vomit, then please excuse my word, what's the use of that education? How many of actually remember what we learned in geography, history and science classes when we were in the school? And sometimes in my youth camps, I ask these 22, 24, 30 years old, कि मुझे काखा गा सुना दो जरा पूरा, वो नहीं सुना पाते. वो अंगा भूल ही गया. They don't even recall that. So unfortunately, we are totally missing the importance of having a stress-free mind. And that is my core when I speak to all of you. So it is about arresting and busting the stress. Now when I say stress, then what it does, it kills your enthusiasm for life, kills your peace of mind, kills your positivity, kills your creativity, kills your immunity. And whatever I am saying, don't take my words as, okay, she is speaking, oh, Gurumaa is speaking, so we should accept it. Please don't. You can go to, I can, give all the links where you can find this information, clinical trials, and we have the conclusive results coming from scientists and psychiatrists and psychologists and doctors. So, what do you do to deal with it? But before that, almost everyone thinks, oh, I don't have any stress. There are only 2 times when I have, in the day and then in the night only. Otherwise, I don't have it. Well, let's find out the truth. Now, although it is about students, but I'm going to involve all the teachers and the principal and the chancellors and everybody. Let's say, ask yourself, do you get frequent headaches? You can say yes or no if you want to. Or don't play this game and just do the nodding in your head. Do you have short memory? Okay, do you remember your wife's birthday? Do you get engrossed in uncontrolled rethinking? Do you start to bite nails, tap feet, scratch head when the encounter challenges come in front of you? Do you talk compulsively? Do you have this attitude? In Punjabi we say, "Tainu ki, te mainu ki." If you have that, then please mind it, be honest, be truthful, be sincere, and say, oh yes, I have stress. No shame. It's just true, pure confession. Well, I'm not a father of any church, and also not any mother of any church. I'm just a simple person talking to you. And whatever titles have been spoken before my name, don't take it seriously. I'm just a human being talking to you, right? So, if your answer to any given question is yes, then you do have stress. And another stress is how to hide this stress. And that's the bigger problem. Acceptance opens the doors for transformation, and it leads you from freedom from the stress itself. Now, choice is yours whether you wish to accept or not accept. I can't push you. Now, I'll take this. Now, this is applicable to all, teachers or students both, principals or chancellors both. That is, the comprehensive list of symptoms which show the cognitive, emotional, or physical or behavioral symptoms in anybody who has stress. Let's go for the cognitive. If you can see on the chart, I've already given that. It's low concentration and memory. Now, my question is, if your student doesn't have proper concentration and can't hold the memory, how will you educate this child? How will you put sense into that child and he will not lose the sense just right away when the teacher walks out of the class? Worrying and the pessimistic approach. I just finished my 21st Youth Shivir in 2022, where I had some 470 youth coming from the whole country. And in my last 21 years interacting with these young ones, and mind you, parents are not allowed in these camps. It's only them and me. And what they speak would shatter their parents big time, because they open up to me readily and they are learning and growing and blooming, and then they open their heart out. And one of the biggest problem which I have found in the young one is their very, very pessimistic approach deep down in their heart, but they cover it up with big laughters and smiles and using the emoticons and WhatsApp and Insta and just being happy with clicking photo with the coffee or an ice cream and saying great time, these gestures and these slogans which they use, but they are not sharing their pessimism with their parents or their teachers. And sometimes to their friends, yes, they do, but the friends are just like another frog of the same pond. So they can't help one another. The emotional symptoms which you see is the moodiness. Teenager and moodiness goes hand in hand. Irritability, short temper, feeling overwhelmed, and sense of loneliness and isolation. I was dealing with 28-year-old girl who would use a blade to cut her own wrist. and then cover it up with the long sleeves so that nobody can see that. And she doesn't know why she does it, but deep down she doesn't want to live. And you know what? The amazing thing is, she herself is a psychotherapist. And she is doing this to herself. And she doesn't know what to do. And she doesn't know whom to talk. She lost her father to cancer. And just a mother is there and the brother is there. And the brother has his own life. Mother doesn't understand. Nobody there to help. And being psychotherapist, she was still hiding the pensiveness and the sense of loneliness. The physical symptoms of your stress can sometimes be into diarrhea or constipation. Please don't be alarmed. Just before the exams, if the children are having diarrhea, it's not because they ate something wrong. It's just because they're too stressed for their exam. Competition is big. Too much competition is there. They want to perform well. The parents have the pressure. The father is, every morning with tere utte inna paisa kharche hai, number leke aa. And the mother is there, meri umeedin hai tere se. And the child is listening to all that emotional clamoring. He wants to perform. But this puts the child's mind down. So diarrhea, constipation, nausea and dizziness, sometimes chest pain and even rapid heartbeat. If you are a good teacher and if you love your own students, I ask you, can you ignore their mental health? I know you're not doctors, you're not supposed to do that. But isn't a teacher supposed to be should be, ideally speaking, a friend, a mentor, a guide, where there is some bonding in between the class pupil and the teacher. Maybe not with every teacher, but maybe with some one teacher, maybe two or maybe three, to whom the child can open his or her out. Let's go to the behavioral symptoms of the stress, and that's eating and sleeping too much or too less, or using alcohol, cigarettes, and drugs to relax. Just in a short, the human brain has a very vital part called hypothalamus. I call it the master computer. And when you are stressed, it creates a glitch. And then in years, not in one day, not in 1 year, not in 10 years, but in years, it can lead to cerebral stroke, to heart attack, to kidney failure, to blood pressure, which is rising so high that the blood vessels get. Now you might wonder, oh no, it's not possible. I was just talking to a senior hepatologist in Gangaram Hospital, Delhi. And he was saying that these days, age 16 to 30, I am receiving the young ones who have 3-grade fatty livers. They are coming with fibrosis, and they're also coming with cirrhosis, and we have to put them on transplant. And I really wonder, if a young one of 23 age is already having a fibrosis liver, what was the reason? And the history says he started drinking when he was in 9th standard. And so this all drinking and this experiment with the drugs which he was having with his friends, male and female both, and smoking cigarettes in the toilets of the school itself, not college, I'm saying. So that led to these serious implications on this teenager's health. The adrenaline rush, which is caused by the stress, gives you fight or flight. लड़ो या भाग जाओ. पहले शेर आते थे तो भागना पड़ता था. अभी शेर तो है नहीं. अब तो जंगलों में नहीं मिल रहे. पर फिर भी सब देखो भागे फिर रहे हैं. इतनी जोर से दिमाग से भागता है, उतनी जोर से पल्स भागती, उतनी जोर से हार्ट बीट चलती है. No wonder the stress stimulates the hypothalamus, which secretes more stress hormone called cortisol, which then affects the pituitary gland and affects the adrenal gland. And that's the reason people are having kidney problems right from age of 30 to 40. And by 50, they're looking for dialysis centers. What I wish to say is things begin very early. And the unseen factor is stress. And I think so good 10 years ago, when I thought of having a clinical trial done on a yogic method, which I teach to my students or my disciples or those who come to learn, at that time, there was this paper from United Nations which said that the biggest killer in the whole world today is stress. It's not cancer, it's not heart, it's not brain, it's stress. So stress is causing all these complications in the health of the people. So the fight and the flight, again, people are all the time fighting, sometimes with friends, sometimes with mom, sometimes with dad, sometimes with teacher, sometimes with their own friends, and the road rage is getting more and more common. People have lost the ability to be patient and tolerant. Just for parking a bike, they can punch somebody's nose. Where is the tolerance going? It is the stress. Now, what do these young ones will do, and sometimes even the adults do? The most popular stress busters are frequent clubs, pubs, party and booze. Simple. In metropolitan cities, I was told they have a drink and they say, breathe out your stress. And taking anti-stress drugs and other things are there. Some people, then they can't sleep. Again, I just had a recent encounter with these 470 young ones. Most of them can't sleep. And then they are dozing off in the daytime. When they have to study, they are sleepy. When they are supposed to sleep, they can't sleep because they were on the Instagram or WhatsApp or chatting with the friends, the fake profile friends, or watching something on the OTT platforms. The tranquilizers have their own effect: sweating, shaking, pounding heart, slurred speech, blurred or double vision, confusion, which they already are. And now with these meds, they are further. Memory loss, nausea, stomach upset. Now, my trials with students happened in one way, where to give them one solution for all the students, and that was Yoga Nidra. Yoga Nidra is something which I did ask the ICMR, the Indian Council of Medical Research, to do a clinical trial on this, because people can easily brush it off. ये सब मम्बो जम्बो ये लोगों का होता है, इनको कुछ पता नहीं. Can you help me in that? So they agreed, and then we had a clinical double-blind placebo trial done for 6 months. And the results came out was this, that their blood pressure came down, their sleep quality became, and mind you, it's not feel-good things. Their blood was tested, the protocols were followed, and everything was done. In certain cases, EEGs were also done. So for 6 months, the panel of 7 scientists were performing this trial, and they came up with the result that this is the best non-medicinal thing which anybody of any age can use it and gain benefit out of it. So just for a trial, I asked one of my disciples, Sachi, who runs a school called Holy Child Public School in Revered, and she selected students from 11th and 12th class. They would attend the Yog Nidra session. They did it continuously for 1.5 years, and within the school premises itself, with the permission of their parents, of course. And parameters under study was reduction of stress, increase in concentration, change in behavior, and increase in the feeling of the happiness. And I'm very happy to present this slide, if you can watch, the comparative study which was done. This dark blue color is before the Yoga Nidra, and this gray color is after the Yoga Nidra. Can you see the high stress level was at the 21, then it came down. The low concentration level was 20. And this principal herself is a psychologist. So it helped me a lot because she knew the mind and she could help her. And then the bad behavior came, and then the low happiness level, which was there before doing the Yoga Nidra. So there was 95.2% reduction of the stress. Can you imagine 11th, 12th का बच्चा और माँ बाप से लड़ नहीं रहा है, भाई बहन को पीट नहीं रहा है, दोस्तों के साथ मटर गश्ती नहीं कर रहा, क्या बोलते उसको, गेड़ी नहीं लगाता, वो गेड़ी नहीं लगाता है, वो घर में पढ़ता है और वो घर का खाना खाता है क्योंकि हमने उसको सिखाया कि प्रोसेस्ड फूड and pre-packed food is bad for your health and bad for your memory. And then they were teaching their mom, don't cook these 2-minute noodles. Can you make a paratha or poha for me? I don't want that. The child is asking for a healthy food. And this principal then told me that so many parents came to see her and personally thanked. What did you do? How have they changed? And she just one thing. And that one thing is they were doing Yog Nidra. So a very, very positive experience. Then the same thing was done in Sucheta Memorial School in Gurgaon. They did it with class 9th student. And we had almost similar results coming. One of army personnel, Colonel Punarpreet Singh Man, dedicatedly was first practicing himself. Then, army, they have these games they play. And for that, he made his football team, Jawans, to do Yog Nidra every day. Now, Yog Nidra is a process. It has multiple levels which you follow. It's a guided, where my voice is there to tell you what to do, and you do it while lying down very comfortably on bed or carpet or whatsoever. It's a 40-minute practice. We begin with deep breathing, then we move on to moving our consciousness and awareness to all parts of the body. Then we move on to reverse counting. Then I take them to the visualization part. And then they make the resolve. Resolve is whatever you wish to change in your mind and your life. I give you that space. I don't do it for anybody. That space, that fill in the blank is like, I want to be out of my phobia or my fear or my inferiority complex or my scare or my feeling of being nothing. So whatever you wish to change for yourself, you sow the seed of that sankalpa, that resolve in your subconscious. And then in the end, you just repeat that same resolve 3 times again, and then you are up. Now, technically speaking, the person would seem to be sleeping. But actually, that person is at that bridge where the deep sleep can take away his awareness, but we keep it right on the bridge. So the person is neither waking nor into the sleep, and right in between that place where you are conscious, but you are in a total deep sleep. Total deep sleep. So it gives you muscular relaxation. It gives you your circulatory system a great relaxation. So I'm not talking just about mind, I'm talking about the physical benefits which you gain by doing it. So this colonel would make his football team to do Yog Nidra, and he said, none of your personal resolve to be used. Jo main keh raha hu na, wo wrong. I said to him, how can you say this? He said, no, par hame to match jeetna tha. So sari team karti thi, hum match jeete. That was the result. Army Scout Master Championship, which happened, in which the Indian Army had participated, and he was supposed to raise the whole, platoon which would go for that. So this platoon was also doing it. Now you might wonder what happened to that football match. Well, they won. They won that match. And then what happened to that Army Scouts Master Championship, in which Russia, Ukraine, China, all these countries were there. And you know what? India team beat them all. And they won that trophy. And our Honorable Defense Minister gave this trophy to Colonel Punarpreet Singh Man's team. And this was a great honor for the country. So after winning this championship, Colonel came to say that on behalf of our whole team, we give you a big thank you. And I said, don't give it to me. You did it. You implored, you guided, you provoked, you mentored your people to do it. And they, well, afsar ka order to manna padta hai. But over here, the team was as agreeing to the situation, what they had, and they found great benefits. We conducted this Yog Nidra for IIT Delhi, for NSIT Delhi, even in Tihar jail. The 150 prison inmates which did. And we had under IMA's umbrella, we did for doctors and paramedics at Faridabad and Mohali. And just now we had one for all the COVID workers and the medical professionals in Ahmedabad, in Gujarat, and so on and so forth. So these are just few stories which I am unfolding in front of you. I actually think that once your mind is calm, relaxed, and you don't have pounding heart and thinking too much about the future, which is so uncertain, and you are not sad for your past, some bad experiences, what helps you to be in the moment? You know, many times everybody who is preaching or teaching is saying, be in the moment. And then people ask, how? And they say, you go and find it out. Well, then what are you going to do? So here I give this method which has been used by our sages, our yogis at one time. But now I have brought this big bull out for the society, for the benefit of each and everyone, irrespective of your religion, irrespective of your whatever background is. We all need a mind which is happy, which is stress-free, which is peaceful. And we all want this peace to come in our personal life and in our family and in our society. So Yog Nidra is one very, very productive, creative, and powerful method which you teachers can choose to, or maybe not choose to, use this to help your students to contain their stress and give them ability to have the three, Dhi, Dhruti, and Smriti. A very strong mind, a good capability to hold the information in the mind, and Smriti so that they can reproduce and use that information wherever it is required. Once you have this kind of powerful mind, then it makes things much more simpler, easier, and whether it is a personal challenge or a medical challenge or a relationship issue, once your mind is in this zone, this time in the Shivir for the youth, I gave them one mantra. I said, when you did your best and still things don't work, or there is some person who is bullying to you, or there is a situation which is hard on you, use this one mantra. No, it's not a Vedic mantra. It's a new age mantra. And that's simple. That's, have you ever seen a bus driver when he's reversing the bus? The conductor helps and said, Jande, 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 Jande. Uruk, fine. Without bumping into something solid. So I said, whenever this situation or an individual is there who is giving you bad comments or bad behavior, Jande, 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 Jande. Don't fight, don't make them understand. You be intelligent enough where to ignore, where to just give a smile and use this mantra, Jande, 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 koi gal nahi, doesn't matters. All the subjects, all the education, great, great. Kudos to all of you. But please teach your students to have a happy, stress-free mind. And I really hope best for all of the teachers who are doing a very challenging job in this scenario. And sometimes when you have to deal with this bully and unruly students, I know what it is. And I hope that our students have these three very, very important and powerful pillars in their life, and that is Dhi, Dhruti, and Smriti. Thank you very much.
I think many of us would be having some questions coming up to really ask from Gurumaa. Swami Nathan sir from Chennai, over to you, your questions.
Very good afternoon to everyone. Good afternoon, Gurumaa. So, we are from the corporate world. So, the straight off question is, how do we define success in youngsters today? Because this is the biggest challenge for anyone, right? Now, is it getting 1 lakh salary or 5 crore salary or starting a startup and earning millions of dollars? Or how do you define success? This is my straightforward question.
I believe everybody has the freedom to define the success the way they want to. We are in a liberal democratic country, so I won't take that away. But I believe in the end of the day, if you have smile on your lips and deep sleep in your head, you are a successful person.
How is it different from hypnotism?
It's not hypnotism, it's self-hypnosis. But self-hypnosis word is, again, a very Western word. I use this as a conscious sleeping. I would give a new term to it. I wouldn't take the word coming from the psychiatry department. I'll give a concord, a new word. And that is, this is a conscious sleeping where you are not asleep, you are totally conscious. And then the idea is that in that deep relaxation, you can make access to your own subconscious mind, which is usually nobody has it. So there is a very small window. And then whatever deep impressions go in our subconscious actually frame our likes, dislikes, our emotions, our temperaments, and create that whole personality what we have today. Yog Nidra is a medium where we use, first we bring that relaxation, then this deep conscious asleep state is there. And then at that right moment, because when we use the visualization part, actually this is the time when your subconscious is going to be very much activated. So just after the visualization, that little window is there. And then you choose what change you want in your life. So you are helping yourself. My system and my voice is just guiding you, taking you to the pool, and then you take the jump and swim or do whatever style of swimming you wish to do or stay, as long as there. But this whole system is basically to give you the power to make the change, which we all have, but somehow we don't know how to. Thank you.
When we were growing up, and when our children were growing up, my son's 38, it used to be that success was defined as how well you're doing. You're a CEO of a company. You've done very well. But in today's term, the children, I say children because they are children our age, between 35, 45, 30s, they're dropping their jobs and they're going back to nature.
Yeah.
And they are finding fulfillment in that. My question is that as a parent, how do we accept it?
I believe you would like your child to be happier than having billions and crying and, excuse my words, jumping from high buildings. We want our children to be alive and happy and satiated. And this is something, a wrong perception given to us by people, East and West, maybe both, where they say that your success is with how much zeros you have, in your bank accounts, or how many houses you have in various countries. But this is a very hedonistic idea, and because we have totally forgotten our own roots, we are totally absolutely wavered, gone away from the true principles of, let me remind you, our Shastra says dharma, artha, kama and moksha. We don't deny anything, but for your kamana also there has to be dharma before. And if dharma is not there, then artha will be just taking so much booze and then dying of liver cirrhosis. Would that be a success? And that's what's happening. Mind you, all the engineering students and the medical students in various universities, for every reason, they end up having a booze party. And now, would you call that a very happy, successful party where they were dropping down and next day they have hangovers and they are vomiting on one another? And I have listened to all these, heard these stories coming from those who were part of these parties. See, if we don't teach our students and children properly, life will teach them. And I think so now, wherever this intelligence is blooming, they are opting for just here in this very Sonipat district, I know at least of 4 IITians who have taken to farming, who have taken to the milk business, who have taken orchards in Himachal Pradesh. And they are happy to wear khadi ka kurta but sleep well. Yeah. So this is something, dharma should be because dharma was not as foundation when they were growing up. You never taught them how to deal with their own mind. You never taught them, I'm not saying you please excuse me, don't take it like that. I mean the parents and the teachers, they were all talking about money and the external things. Nobody taught that just by doing mantra alone, if a right method is taught to you, you can have a high feeling, which a druggie has it. I teach this to my people who come to learn from me. If they knew how to have good concentration, then they wouldn't be fighting for numbers and not getting in. One student was saying, बोले जिस दिन मेरा रिजल्ट आना था मैं भगवान को प्रार्थना करना, भगवान मेरे को इतना बल दे दे कि जब पापा बेल्ट से पीटे मैं सह लूँ, क्योंकि नंबर तो आने नहीं वाले, पढ़ाई तो की कोई नहीं है उसने. So he's just asking for the tolerance so that जब beating आवे तो मैं ले लूँ उसको, उसमें मेरे को ज़्यादा तकलीफ मत हो. And his friend gave him a message, एक गोली जीभ के नीचे रख लेना, drug, मार खाएगा पता ही नहीं चलेगी. So where have we brought our children? Why couldn't we teach them the dharma? When I say dharma, I'm not talking about just religion and rituals alone. I'm talking about learning about life and death, learning about what wealth can give you and what not, guiding them what family can give you and what not. And nobody completes you. You have to see, I am a complete woman or man in my own capacity. I don't need a wife or a husband to complete. I don't need money to complete me. And I don't need somebody to say, tu to pahunch gaya badi achhi jagah pe. Bhai, if I know it, I am there. I don't need anybody to tell this to me. Like when we eat food, we know when we are satiated. Nobody tells us. So, if your satiation is not there, excuse my word, then you are a failure. Some will be failure by being billionaire, and some will be just a pauper, but still a failure. But if you have the dharma in your life, and you have clarity and perception and intuition and intelligence with you, then whether you are a peon in a college or whether you are a vice chancellor, maaf karna, a peon should be given that much respect as much as a principal is getting. The day when we don't respect others and we don't respect ourselves and we see the external material success as success, here we have gone wrong. And we have to accept as society. Right? Thank you.
I was so engrossed in your response that I've half forgotten my question. But my daughter is 15 years old. And I've consciously tried my best that I provide an ecosystem to her in order to make her an empathetic and a kind human being. But when children go out, then kindness and empathy are not always rewarded with the same response. So how do you really day in and day out, directly or indirectly tell your child, this is the way to be?
See, teach your child to be a lion and not a lamb.
Yeah.
A lamb will get shoveled, pushed by others. But if your child is a lion, एक दहाड़ मारेगा, उसको कौन हाथ लगा सकता?
So finally,
तो बच्चे फिर चूजे पैदा मत करो ना. They shouldn't be चूजे. They shouldn't be, मतलब, who get just flared by anything and everything. A movie changes their dress sense. A movie changes their shoes. A movie changes their outlook of going, which place. कि टर्की की फिल्म आ गई, सबको टर्की जाना है, और चाइना पे बन गई तो सबको चाइना जाना. I call this lamb syndrome. So please don't be a lamb yourself. Be a lioness. धाड़ मारना और उसको भी सिखा दे. And you know what?
The hard maro.
See, I know about a few of my students who came in my shivirs. They all changed the environment in their universities and their colleges. And they formed Yog Nidra clubs over there. There is one in NSIT, there is one in DU, there is one in Guru Gobind Singh Engineering College, there is one in Engineering College, Rai Soni. How? Because these students took the charge and now they are conducting the Yog Nidra workshops over there. I am not going. I do visit universities when the students call, when they want to have one-on-one with me. I do go, I do meet. Otherwise, I call them, come here. And you are just hardly 16 kilometers away from Rishi Chaitanya Ashram, the institution where I am living and working. That place has a green space. That place is basically where I teach them to become a lion and a lioness. Not a lamb, please.
Tell us something. How can we teach our children the difference between happiness and money making? Because today, even after lot of moral value education we give them, 90% students, they just understand money is happiness.
See, the majority of the society, again, I would say it's a hedonistic society. So that surely is going to have an impact, but with leading as an example yourself to them. And see, nobody likes to listen to a lecture. I remember in my college days, this song was very popular, Papa Don't Preach. You know, nobody likes preaching. The Papa don't preach. So no bacha, no child likes that preaching coming from a teacher or coming from parent. So the thing is, sometimes the outsider, like me, sometimes a teacher, an outsider, can be a bigger impact on the child's mind than sometimes some very, very close blood-related people. Because sometimes we tend to ignore what we have, and we tend to be more inspired by what we don't have. And when the child sees one's parents meditating, singing, how many of you sing and dance at home? Yeah? Please do that. But I hope not after boozing. So how many have given the exposure to, I would say, the creative arts like music, like dance, like pottery, like painting, like jungle walking, like these, and I would say the Hatha Yoga in itself. If a child performs the Hatha Yoga and does the pranayam, you don't have to do anything. They themselves will be changing themselves. But see, some efforts have to go. अगर छोटे से ही बच्चे को हम ये सिखाते हैं और वो देखता है माँ बाप और रिश्तेदारों को कि अमीर मौसी आती है तो अच्छी वाली प्लेटें बाहर आती हैं, और जब थोड़ी गरीब रिश्तेदार आते हो तो स्टील वाली चला लो, कोई बात नहीं. वो जो डिफरेंस है ना व्यवहार का, बच्चे वहाँ से सीख जाते हैं. जब हम ये व्यवहार नहीं करते, जब हम शांत है, जब हम पीठ पीछे किसी की बुराई नहीं करते, या वो भाई उन्हें बड़े नोट कमा ले, असी भी कमावांगे, उन्हें किवें बोले रिश्वतखोरी से, तो वो हम भी कर लेते, क्या दिक्कत हो गई. तो कई बार बच्चे बाप से कहते, जब वो रिश्वत खा के अमीर हो सकते, डैडी हम क्यों नहीं. So somewhere the society is going to be the way it is. We have to see how we carve our children's mind, how well we have a good environment. I'm not saying it's all the onus is on the parents, but surely the onus has to be on teachers also. And the onus, these days, everybody has a phone. They see what they want to see, whether it is a music album or pornography. They are going to do that. But when will they make right choice? When they will have viveka to make right choice. If they don't have the power to discriminate, they'll be making wrong choices. So we have to find out, every child is different, every mother, father is different. So you have to see what way you can invent to put that message in the child's head that he knows money doesn't gives you everything. If that was so, तो आसान हो जाता है एक्चुअली. मुझे लगता है, मतलब एक हमने ऑनलाइन अमेज़ॉन पे शॉपिंग करी कि भाई 5 किलो खुशी भेज दो और हमें मिल जाती. बड़ा आसान हो जाता. पैसे से खाना मिलता है, भूख नहीं. गद्दा मिलता है, नींद नहीं. फैमिली मिलती है, आपस का प्यार नहीं. बुद्धि तो मिलती है, प्रज्ञा नहीं मिलती. So we need to explore all those. And so my one suggestion, Mother, is this, that if possible, I have just given a new format to Bhagavad Gita, and that is the one shloka and one small meaning, and in English phonetic, how to speak the shlokas, and that one paragraph is enough. And I'm so happy that these days this book is being taken and lapped up by the youngsters. Because I always say, आप गाड़ी लो, मिक्सी लो, फ्रिज लो, उसके साथ how to use this appliance, you have that booklet, right? But you got this human body and mind, but there was no booklet. दे देते भगवान, चिपका देते बट में कहीं एक कि भाई ये है तेरी बुकलेट. How to navigate in your life, what to do, how to use your mind. So if we don't know how to use our mind, this mind has tendency to get corrupted. Like water has tendencies to flow down, and fire will always go up. So mind as such has the ability to fall. तभी तो बोलते ना, I've fallen in love. Nobody says I have risen in love. जब उसमें भी गिर जाते हैं, तो गिरना आदमी का स्वभाव हो गया. उठना मेहनत है. इसीलिए हमारी संगति, इसीलिए किसी न किसी जागरूक व्यक्ति का आपके जीवन में होना बहुत ज़रूरी है, जो आपका हाथ पकड़ के आपको रूल्स ऑफ द लाइफ, मैनुअल ऑफ द लाइफ दे, और फिर कहे बेटा अब अपनी ज़िंदगी की गाड़ी चला बिना कहीं एक्सीडेंट किए. वो है नहीं, बच्चे क्या करें. हमें हमारे माँ बाप जो बताएंगे हम उसे सत्य मानेंगे, बट हमारे ऋषियों ने जो सिखाया हम वो नहीं सीख पाए. वो दर्शन हमारे पास नहीं है, हमारे पास वो ट्रेनिंग नहीं. इसीलिए एक्सीडेंट्स होते रहते हैं अनफॉर्चुनेटली. वी डोंट वांट इट बट इट्स हैपनिंग. खुशी, सफलता के मायने सब ने बदला दिए हैं. सब जगह नेम, फेम एंड पावर, दैट्स द ओनली 3 थिंग्स विच पीपल वांट इन देयर लाइफ. जवान हो कि बुढ़ा हो कि बच्चा हो, सबको यही चाहिए. पर कभी तो कहानी सुनाओ ना आप महात्मा बुद्ध की, कि वो राजकुमार था पर फिर भी क्या ढूंढने निकल गया था. वो पत्नी थी, पुत्र था, बाप था, होने वाला राजा था, पर फिर भी ढूंढने क्या निकला. सवाल करना चाहिए. राजा जनक का जीवन बताइए. वो राजा हैं, सब कुछ है, लेकिन फिर भी एक रात सपने में अपने आप को भिखारी देखा, तड़पते हुए देखा, दिनों का भूखा. एक टूटे प्याले में थोड़ा चावल पड़ा था, वो लगा लेने तो एक सांड भागता आया और उसने ठोकर मारी और वो प्याला भी तोड़ दिया. और वो रोता है और नींद खुल गई. नींद खुली तो देखा वो तो राजा है. तो इसके मन में प्रश्न आया, तो उसने ऋषियों मुनियों को बुलाया, दार्शनिकों, विद्वानों को, कि जो मैंने अभी देखा नींद में वो सच है, या ये जो अभी देख रहा हूँ ये सच है. मैं सच में भिखारी हूँ कि मैं सच में एक राजा हूँ. यहाँ से उनकी खोज शुरू हुई. ज्ञान प्राप्ति अष्टावक्र जी से हुई. उसके बाद वो बाबा जी बन के हरिद्वार नहीं चले गए थे, वो राजा रहे, सीता के पिता रहे, राम जी के ससुर हुए, लेकिन ज्ञान हो जाने के बाद. तो इस ब्रह्म विद्या की आवश्यकता है. भगवद गीता में है, उपनिषद में है, आज श्री गुरु ग्रंथ साहब की वाणी में है. एंड आई यूज दिस सोर्सेस readily to put this in this new scientific aptitude. And I really can't say it enough through words. There are so many videos on YouTube and on my app, Amrit Varsha, where these young ones are learning, meditating, doing asanas, and having a crazy dance, and they're singing and doing workshops and crying while going back home because they have so much fun. And they say, काश हमारे स्कूल ऐसे होते कि घर जाने का दिल ना करता. अब तो वो पूछते छुट्टी कब है. So we really need to think over and present that vibrant, creative environment to our children, who are our hopes. पूरा देश का भविष्य उनके ऊपर निर्भर है. So I'm trying to do a little bit whatever I can in my own way. And I'm really hoping from all of you that you have taken some cues. And about Yog Nidra and ICMR research and so much more, all my talks and even the scientists, when they came to Siri Fort, Delhi, to present these findings, made it public. So their speeches are there. The interaction of youngsters with me are there. So which will give you a more reason to think over.
Namaskar, Gurumaa. I don't have any question because I agree with whatever you said, and like everyone else, I was also engrossed in whatever you were saying, and it was amazing. I just want to thank you for talking about this beautiful word, mind, happiness, karma. All these words are very, very beautiful, and I just want to thank you for that. And I specifically want to thank you for something which has caught my attention. Your whole talk was based on research. And there's a talk going around that researches that are happening in humanities and social sciences do not have a social impact. Like in the field of sciences, they have an impact, every day. We have a medicine for vaccination for COVID, we have this and that. But the impact of researchers happening in social sciences do not have that kind of impact. But I could see very clearly that your whole talk was based on research. And thank you for endorsing that and actually making me feel very confident about the field. And thank you so much. And I'm sure many of us will agree that this was, I would say, in a way, very, very scientific, because the talk was based on research, and research is done very scientifically.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, for bearing me and listening to all that. Sometimes people get worse. Ye kaun aa gaye hai? Ye, how come, who is he? Why is he there? So sometimes my so-called status comes in between. क्योंकि एक perception बना हुआ है ना कि कुछ भी बोल देते, इनको पता कुछ होता नहीं. So I always admire and love all sentient beings. And from last almost 30 years, I have been working. Last 30 years, I'm saying, I have been working and very closely with all age groups, and whatever I can do to bring knowledge and peace and joy for everybody, I'm trying to do. Thank you very much.